Hey, what's up, Jim? I recently was talking to one of our friends, Jack First, about the 5 C's of credit, and kind of wanted to just get your opinion on the whole thing and kind of hear from your point of view what your 5 C's look like.
Sounds good, Ben. Thanks for having me today on this hot St. Louis afternoon in mid-late September. Wow.
My pleasure, man. Well, cool. So I guess the 5 C's, I'm just figuring out about them, but you were telling me more off camera. It's character, capacity, capital, collateral, and conditions. Is that right?
That's right. The 5 C's have been around for some time, and I believe you were talking to your mentor and friend Jack First, and he's kind of reiterated those and has talked in depth about how important it is for someone borrowing money to have a grasp of these 5 C's. Matter of fact, taking it even further, taking those 5 C's and almost putting them together on a one sheet or something easy for your banker or loan officer to have that kind of summarizes those 5 C's of your credit. So anyway, with that, the 5 C's as a summary or definition is the financial institution's attempt to mitigate or lessen their risk of lending to borrowers by performing this credit analysis. And a lot of banks and lending places go about it differently, but they all kind of come back to looking at those 5 C's that you mentioned earlier. And basically it's just an attempt for those guys to get as much information they can and evaluate, can this guy pay the money back?
Got it. So they want to lend money, and they're running the 5 C's on people to figure out if they're a good fit to loan money to.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So then somebody like you, if you want to go borrow money, it would be helpful if you can save their time and energy by maybe having this more prepared for them so they don't have to dig and research and try to figure it out.
Right. I believe, again, referencing your mentor, he talks about Jack First putting a sheet together, having it handy, and having it updated to where your lending institutions and banks, you have that readily available for them when they call on it as they do their analysis of you. So if we're talking about character, which is kind of the first C, refers to the borrower's reputation or track record for repaying debts.
Right.
So it's kind of who you are and kind of your reputation and your track record of yourself. So kind of everything you've done through your life. It's your character.
Right. So what would you, if you had a minute or two to give somebody, an investor or a banker, your character component, what would you tell them?
Well, my character component is, again, my track record when you're looking at my credit, my particular credit number from the 3 institutions that, review that is high. So I got a great track record on repaying my debts. My borrower's reputation of doing that too, outside of those, just the reputation in the lending industry around St. Louis. My reputation is good. So, not to break my arm, pat myself on the back too much, but, the banks are going to look at my reputation, what we've done around this area. And in my case, right now is a good time for me to be able to secure different loans for different projects, based on that box that the banks are going to be looking at me. So, I would tell anybody, and especially when you're in your early 20s where you can make lots of mistakes with these types of things, your character is something you want to keep upstanding, and your track record of paying debts you want to keep in good standing, because at some point you are going to need to borrow money, and it's the first thing they're going to look at.
Right.
If they can't check that box, then you're going to start having difficulties getting money.
Got it. So if you were talking to a banker who's saying, "Man, Jim, I like you. You seem like a great guy. I believe you have a good reputation." What's an example of a time that you've shown good character in paying back money?
Just many different types of loans, from the consistency of a house payment, over 25 years, to borrowing money for cars early on, borrowing money for investment properties, borrowing money from private lending people. I've borrowed money from private money from individuals and paying those people back. So those are some examples of my character as it relates to my track record with repaying debts.
Got it. Thanks. All right. Well, you want to go in and talk about your capacity?
Yes, we can talk through the capacity, and lenders, again, they must be sure, and this kind of goes into the next one. They have to be sure that you have the ability to pay back the loan. So, for instance, you could have a great reputation, great track record of paying, but they also need to confirm that you have the capacity, and that's the ability to repay a loan. Say you're pushing yourself to the limits and you're trying to do maybe a condo development in Florida that may be $100 million. You may have a great track record, a great reputation, but your ability or capacity to pay that loan back in the event something went wrong on a $100 million loan may be difficult.
Right.
So anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What about your capacity? How are you creating active and passive income in your life?
So yes, my capacity is come from my some of the money that I have coming in includes money from restaurants that we have, also from real estate investments.
What restaurants?
Sugarfire and Emo's Pizza primarily.
How many of those?
Let's see, we gotta have I think we got 8 restaurants.
8 restaurants? Yes.
So those create revenue streams that a bank will look at against reoccurring debts. So if you have multiple revenue streams, and in my case we have some restaurants, we have revenue that comes in from real estate investments, also commercial primarily, from strip malls to rental houses, in addition to dividends from life insurance policies, cash value life insurance policies. So when you look at those, that compared to my debt, then that's what the bank's going to look at your capacity and your ability to repay a loan. Also, they're going to look at when they're looking at capacity. They're looking at the length of time you've been doing what you do. For instance, if you've been in the restaurant business for 1 or 2 years, that may not be as dark of a check mark as it would be in my case if you've been doing restaurants for 25 years. So
wow, yeah.
Anyway,
so 25 years, and then you have, what is it, like 5 Emos and 2 Sugarfires?
Yeah, the 3rd Sugarfire is opening up tomorrow.
Cape Girardeau?
Yep, Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
And then is there anything going on after that?
Sugarfire, there's plenty. There's going to be Edwardsville. We have a business relationship with one in Cincinnati, northern Kentucky. And we also will be opening one up in Wentzville, Columbia, and then Chesterfield, Missouri, in the next 2 years.
Oh, wow. Very nice. So you got quite a bit going on that's driving a lot of income towards you.
Yeah. It's working out right now.
It's awesome. All right. Well, did that finish up capacity for you?
I think so. Yep.
All right. How about capital?
So capital, the 3rd C of the 5 C's of credit, it can be a few different things. This is money maybe you're put down in a project that may indicate to a bank how serious you are. Also, it's just the capital that you have when the lenders are looking at you and analyzing yourself. So when you're looking at your investment account balances, capital savings, possibly life insurance cash values.
Got it.
So capital, again, is more of a liquid cash that you're putting into things.
Got it. Are you doing any of the cash value life insurance stuff?
Yes. Amy and I primarily have invested in cash value life insurance versus dabbling in the market versus investing in stocks. It's more of a conservative approach, but a consistent growth over time that provides a great deal of security, as well as access to the capital, as well as prevention from creditors from suing you. There's a lot of benefits of life insurance, cash value life insurance.
Have you been doing it a while?
Yeah, been doing it since my early 20s with New York Life is where we started doing some small policies to some larger policies that we have now through Northwestern Mutual and Guardian.
Like how many policies do you think you have?
We have north of 20 policies.
20.
That's on us and key individuals that we've done business with, people that work for me, family members.
Got it. And those are most or all are cash value?
All of them.
All of them?
They may vary a little bit underneath the umbrella of cash value life insurance, but they're all yes.
Cool.
We don't have any just term insurance or adjustable variable life stuff. It's just cash value driven life insurance.
Got it. All right. Well, what else on capital? Anything?
Not really. Again, I think it's just looking at just like what we talked about, the cash that you're putting down in projects, the cash that you have in investments, and pretty sums it up.
All right, cool. Go real quick on capacity. It seems like I don't know this for sure. Maybe you could tell me more. It seems like every day you've had just so many opportunities coming in to produce great amounts of income, especially lately. Is that true?
Yeah. There are lots of opportunities that seem to be showing themselves to me at this point in time in my life. I believe that's a product of preparing yourself for those opportunities, and I mean preparing yourself mentally, doing the work to be able to handle and analyze the opportunities, as well as being in a financial position to take advantage of those opportunities. So I have more opportunities than I have capacity right now. So
wow.
It's not always like that, where some people are looking for opportunities, but right now in our life, when I say our life, my life and Amy's life, we have more opportunities than we have probably capacity right now.
Wow. It's a great problem to have.
I think so. So we're able to look at different things and decide what we want to do, and it's fun right now.
Awesome. Well, cool. What about the fourth C?
Fourth C, we could talk about collateral, and this also can help borrowers secure loans. It kind of goes from capacity to collateral, in that the banks can also look at different assets that you have in the way of having a house, again, stocks, maybe real estate, again, life insurance, some of the stuff outside of just capital that can be used to secure different loans. Banks can tie up properties. They can tie your house up into deeds of trust, where they can hold those assets in the event that you're not able to pay. They can take those assets from you. Banks like to do that, and they typically like to tie up as much as they can to protect themselves. So again, collateral and having it available can come in handy when you're borrowing money.
Got it.
And if you're on the flip side, if you're lending money, which I know you have done, Ben, in some instances, these types of things can make you feel more secure when you're lending money. If you're lending someone $5,000 or $10,000 and say they give you the title of their car, or they have some other instruments or different things that make you feel more secure in the event that they were to default. So,
Right. So do you have some pretty good collateral that you can put up for stuff?
Yeah, it's pretty good collateral. So yeah, we have different investments, again, within real estate and life insurance, and some cases.
What do the real estate ones look like?
Real estate looks at just commercial strip malls between 5,000 and 20,000 square feet. the typical small shop retail strip malls. You might have a hairdresser in them, those type of places, maybe a little pizza place, those type of strip malls. So smaller in nature, I think still a secure investment. When you're looking at some of the retail strip malls and big box retailers, which have been affected by the Amazon factor, these strip malls, I believe, are still going to be there. Those services are still, someone's still going to go out and get their hair cut. They're still going to go out and get cups of coffee. They're still going to go out and eat. Still going to go out and get cell phones, I think. So these small boutique type of retail strip malls, I believe, are still in demand and still have a life that's out there.
Got it.
It's not going to be affected.
And you have a handful of those?
A handful of them, yep. 10 or so.
10, got it.
Yeah.
And then you've kind of created a niche with being able to create a strip mall or something and also have a really great income producing business within it, right?
That's worked. Yeah, I've kind of modeled this over another gentleman who did it many years ago. I watched him.
Who's
in
that?
the Emos Pizza organization.
Got it.
His name's Steve Knowles.
Got it.
I watched Steve Knowles early on get involved in real estate, and I just pretty much mimicked what he did. It wasn't a hard business model he came up with. Build a building, put an Emos Pizza in there, charge yourself rent. So it's worked pretty well and has enabled me to grow and get involved pretty heavily in the real estate business.
Got it. I saw you have a newer one that's really beautiful out in Warrenton. Isn't that true?
Yeah, we've been open about 2 years out there with the Emos Pizza that we bought from somebody and put it bought the best corner in Warrenton. And I mean the best corner in Warrenton.
Wow.
And probably paid the most money for it, but again, the 3 L's of real estate, location, 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 when you look at it, it still makes sense, and I think it always will. You can't hardly ever lose in paying, top dollar for a piece of real estate that is seriously the location. So we did that in Warrenton, in a market that's maybe not as sexy as some, probably overpaid for the property, but when you look at it over a long-term investment, I think it's going to make sense.
Got it. And that's where you have one of your commercial real estate strip malls out there, right?
Yeah, we got a strip mall, and at least to a pharmacy, and then we got our Emos Pizza in it.
Got it. Well, cool. Anything else on collateral?
I don't think so. The more you can have in the way of it, the more likely you are to get loans from banks and people. Save money, generate income, save as much of the income as you can, convert it into assets that can be used for collateral, and then you'll be in a good position.
Awesome. And that's pretty much what you've done for, the last 25, 30 years?
Yes, trying. Still a work in progress.
Got it. Well, cool. Anything on, I'm not sure on the last C. What about that? I forgot what it is.
Well, the last C is conditions, and it typically refers to the terms of the loan, as also can refer to any economic conditions that might be affecting you borrowing the money at that particular time. But I think a lot of times it has to do, in terms of the loan, it has to do with the interest rates, the amount of principal that you're borrowing. Again, looking at the conditions of a loan, refer to how a borrower intends to use the money. For example, if a borrower applies for a car loan or a home improvement loan, a lender may be more likely to approve these loans because of a specific purpose than rather you going into getting a signature loan or just a random loan for anything. So the more specific you are in what you're borrowing, tend to lend itself to better conditions, better interest rate, and better situation on how much a bank will lend to you, whether they require 5%, 10%, 20% down. So
Got it.
In the last, if you're looking at the last probably year, we've had an uptick in interest rates. Back in 2008, when we went through that 7-8, when we went through that debacle with the lending industry, a lot of those conditions changed. Interest rates didn't rise up too much, but the values of real estate were going down. Banks were requiring more equity in properties. So again, that was a situation where you can look at the condition, being the lending conditions outside the economic conditions that were affecting loans at that point in time. Right now, still seems like a very competitive time to get loans. Interest rates in the commercial short-term 3 to 5 year notes are anywhere from 4.75 to 5.5. And banks were doing deals anywhere from 15% to 25% down, which are pretty standard, pretty decent, lending terms.
Got it.
Conditions.
Got it. Well, great. I'm looking at my notes here. I got character, capacity, capital, collateral, and conditions down. And it looks like you pretty much have the best character you could possibly have. Some very incredible capacity going on, substantial capital, substantial collateral, and you have a really good understanding of what the fifth C means, conditions. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. Again, banks, people that are lending capital to people, all of them have different methods of analyzing the borrower's credit worthiness. They may call it different things, but these 5 C's are going to come into play when you're borrowing money from whoever or whomever. So it doesn't really matter, but these things are very, very important, and you need to make sure that you take care of them, because when you need money and you need to call on these 5 C's of credit, you want them to be there for you to help you through whatever you're doing to get money for whatever you're getting money for.
Right.
So anyway, don't, pay your payments on time. Don't overextend yourself. Save your money, and make sure you got a good business plan when you're getting money or asking money from somebody or some institution.
Got it. I'm sure that I know that you're on the lending side often too. You would probably appreciate somebody else doing this for you, right?
Absolutely. Again, the more organized you present yourself to your banker, your any private lending person, capital equity firm. So anytime you can, again, present yourself in an organized fashion, having all this stuff organized is going to make it more likely that you're going to get that loan.
Awesome. And you removed a big blind spot for me today and really helped me. I got a bunch of notes here. I appreciate it so much, Jim. You got anything else?
Not really. Have fun down in Texas.
All right, man. Have fun in St. Louis.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
All right, man. Bye.
Bye.